And today I have a layout using this free sketch from Allison Davis over at Scrapbook Generations. I'm going to use the back of this sketch and some of the photos, but the right hand side of the layout I definitely change up quite a bit. I am going to be documenting these photos that I took of Eli when he was cooking, and I first started out with this no pun intended paper that has the guacamole and other taco items on it, but then I also had this piece of paper from Doodlebug that had tacos and like hot sauce and guacamole and chips, and I liked that piece of paper better, so I went ahead and pulled that in. I was trying to use some of the paper from the no pun intended collection, but it just did not work out. So I did pull from my stash some green cardstock and then also some brown cardstock. I did use the back of a sheet of paper from the no pun intended paper. It just has the red with like little brown lines on it, and that's really the only piece of paper that I used from that collection. So the sketch calls for a lot smaller photos on the far right hand side, and what I wanted to show you is that you can take a sketch and really follow it quite a bit and then not so much, and that's what I did here. If you see the back of the layout, like what I call the bones of the layout, the back pattern paper, that follows the sketch very closely. And then I did start out with following the sketch on the left hand side, but then when I got to the right, I just knew that I wasn't going to use that small of photos. So I just went ahead and figured out what worked for me. I really did mimic the left and right hand side. So I have two 4x6 photos. I did trim them down just a little bit, just so that I can have a little breathing room on the edges. So they're probably closer to like 3 1/4 by 6. And then on the left hand side, I'm going to have two 3x4s. And then on the right hand side, I'm going to have two 4x4 photos. I did pull out my stitching guide. This is an Allison Davis sketch. So to give a little nod to her, I'm actually going to add stitching to 3 places. Over on the far left hand side, I just did a straight stitch, and on the far right hand side I did a straight stitch, and then the one that's in the middle on the right hand side is a straight stitch, but then I put little cross hatches across it. So this is where I'm going to trim down some of my photos, again just to give it a little bit of breathing room. The sketch calls for the 4x6 photos and then 2 smaller photos right next to it, and I wanted those photos to pop up a little bit. So what I did was I put the far left hand photo down, but a little bit of space so that the 2 photos, or the photo and the 3x4 card, overlaps them. So not only are they on fun foam, but they overlap the 2 4x6 photos just a little bit, like maybe an 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch at the most. And I felt like that really gave an extra pop to the photos over there. I put most of the photos on the right hand side down flat, so that 4x6 photo, I'm using my T-square ruler to make sure that it is lined up with the left hand side of the layout. And then I went ahead and did the opposite. I tucked in the 4x4 photos underneath the 2 4x6 photos. It overlaps just a little bit, and because the 4x4 photos are obviously a little taller than the 4x6 photos, you can really see that at the top on the right hand side. So that very last photo, I decided to put that one up on fun foam just so that it gives a little extra, and I tried to put them in order. So on the far left you can see that he's cutting the vegetables for the tacos, and then in the middle he's cooking with the hamburger meat and the refried beans, and then on the end is where he's actually opening the refried beans. So it's not really in order, but it's close enough. I did have to pull from my stash for quite a bit of the pieces because the no pun intended line didn't have a lot of taco pieces. I really liked that card that said, can we talk about how cute you are? But that was really the only piece. So I'm pulling in a bunch of my pieces from my collection. I tried this title in several places before I could find one that worked. I do like where it ended up at the top. I have these really large stickers from Hobby Lobby. I purchased them a long time ago, and I purchased them in every color when they went on clearance because I like them for like smaller titles like this for the taco. And then I have these stickers that have like texture on them. They're a little polka dot texture, is really cute. So I added that as well. Most of these pieces that I'm pulling are from Ellie Studio. They had a line at one point that was all about like food. So I have over there on the far left hand side a little square that has actually utensils on it. Right underneath that I put a chipboard piece that says yummy food. And then over on the far right hand side, those same utensils with the word on the menu. And then right underneath that I have the word delish. That chipboard taco actually comes from the Simple Stories Bro & Co company. Pulled that piece out as well. And then I just went ahead and added my journaling over on the far right hand side. Here is my final layout as well as some close-ups. Do you guys document your kids making dinner or helping you with dinner? I think that that's such an important thing to show some independence, and he loves to help making dinner, or he did when this happened back in 2020. Not so much right now because we're definitely moving into that teenage years, and if it requires any cooking at all, he's not going to do it. All right, everybody, if you enjoyed this video, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already and you want to see more double page layout inspiration, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope that you have a scrappy day.